Good afternoon, everybody.
Man, it's evening.
Or, my bad, evening. Y'all know what I meant. Y'all know what I meant. He knew what I meant.
No, we don't know what you meant.
So, it is that time again, Thursday, one of my favorite days of the week. You know, I love my Saturdays, but Thursday is quickly becoming one of my favorite days of the week because of this right here. I get to see all y'all's beautiful faces and everything.
But you know what's funny? Thursday has always been my favorite day of the week.
Huh.
Always been. I think it goes back to the Cosby Show and different world days.
Oh, you know what? That's true.
But it's definitely my favorite time.
Okay.
But other than that, how was your week?
This week has been long and stressful, brother. However, when Brother Empowerment comes around, my week always gets better because then I know right after Brother Empowerment, Saturday's right around the corner.
Oh, so you just skip Friday?
Yeah. skip Friday, man. You know, unless it's payday. Pay Fridays are excellent. They're amazing.
That money already be gone.
Sometimes. Depends on when it is. So, yeah. But how was your week, bro?
My week was quite interesting. It was an array of emotions. I actually picked up acting again.
Okay.
So we're gonna see how that goes.
Okay.
Oh, so you just skip Friday? Look at me. Acting like I don't have any sense. But yeah, what's going on, Frederick?
What's up, Fred?
Tori told us to let him know that what's going on.
Man, what's up, Rico?
What's going on, brother?
So we have quite a few topics to talk about today. Of course, you know everybody wants to talk about the elephant in the room. I know you do. So,
what is the elephant in the room?
You know what it is.
Who put the elephant there?
You know, the elephant was put there by, you know what I'm saying? I guess.
You know what? Before we do that, it's a couple of things that I do want us to kind of talk about and address. You know what I just thought about?
What's that?
I didn't connect to the Wi-Fi. So, let's see something. Let's see if it'll connect automatically. Is it still on?
Yeah. Oh, okay.
There you go.
All right, we're still here.
Sorry about that, guys. When I came over here, I was like, yeah, something ain't right. I forgot to connect to the Wi-Fi. Okay, before I do that, I want to talk about a couple of things first, just because we've been getting a lot of new people with Brother Empowerment who haven't been with us for the whole 6-7 months since we started the Brother Empowerment arm. Brother Empowerment is not a gimmick.
Oh no.
Meaning we're not doing this trying to make money. This junk is free. Like, we be at each other's houses, anywhere we can go that has Wi-Fi. And it's also about helping people.
Yeah.
Like, we genuinely are doing this because we want to help people. And we want to separate ourselves from those organizations that are trying to get money. If you ever notice anything that's associated with Love is a Parable, we try our best to give it to you guys free.
Yeah.
And the reason being is we don't want to be one of those organizations that tax the same community we're trying to help.
Yeah.
We can't help you if you are coming to us for help, trying to make you give us money to help you, and you already said you don't have that, but need help.
Yeah.
I truly believe in bringing back just happiness and bringing back humanitarianism.
Yeah.
Humanity is not dead, and we need to start looking at people as people and not trying to make it more than what it is. Like, the only agenda for Love is a Parable is the same agenda for Brother Empowerment. That's unity. There's no other agenda. There's no side that we're on. There's no side that we are against. Well, I guess you say the side of right and truth. And those things are irrefutable. Truth is irrefutable. Your relationship with truth may be refutable, but truth is irrefutable, and we're on the side of truth, and we just want to do right by people.
Right.
And it's like we debunked that whole thing about speaking your truth and all of that. We don't care about that. What we care about is the truth, and we care about unifying one another. So I definitely wanted to put that out there because I think it's important to know we haven't asked you for money yet.
Yeah.
And if we ask you for money, just like we asked for donation for the Brother Empowerment Cookout.
Correct.
Well, that was to pay the cook and also to get the food for the people.
Right.
That didn't go in any of our pockets because we all work full time. And so we are going to keep that. We never want to be in a place where we are charging you to help you.
Yeah. We don't do this for money. We don't do this for props. We're not clout chasing. This is just really, we do this, for the love, pun intended, and we do it, it comes from our hearts. So, if you can't see that already, I really hope that, by watching Brother Empowerment and really talking to us, because we're real live people that you can see and talk to and meet up with at certain times, I really, hope that everybody can see there's no question about that, especially when they come see us and they come talk to us.
Enrico, shut up. I'm not sharp. Look, you see how we jump right back into that?
I'm like a Ginsu right now. You know what I'm saying?
I had another event that I went to, and that event really empowered me. It was a networking event. Mm-hmm. And I've been to networking events before, but this networking event was a little different because of the caliber of people that were there and the type of respect and tone and the whole atmosphere. I promise you, I wanted to stay longer. But I actually sped over here. It was a 20-minute drive, and I made it here in like 16 or 15 minutes.
That's what we're talking about. Right? Efficiency. That's what we're talking about.
Right. Okay, so the big elephant in the room.
You know what it is.
Well,
the Aisha Curry situation. So,
tell us about the Aisha Curry situation.
So there is a Red Table Talk, as you know. Well, I guess you call it a show that Jada Pinkett does with her daughter Willow and her mother. Her mother's name eludes me. But they do a show. They have a show called Red Table Talk, where they bring out a red table. They talk about very, very hard-hitting issues. And so Aisha Curry, along with her mother-in-law, her sister-in-law, and her other sister, were also on the show. And so Aisha Curry said that on the show, she said that, Steph gets a lot of attention from women and this and that. People are always coming at him. And so she said that she does not get attention from men. And she said that while she does not want the attention, she wants to know that it's there. Those are her words, pretty much verbatim. So, and of course, there talks about other things, but that was the biggest thing that people were talking about. And so there was a lot of, people were writing thesis statements almost on this, man. So, it was interesting to see a lot of the opinions and stuff like that. And so some people really kind of just tearing her down, which I didn't think was right. Some other folks, when you put stuff out there publicly, people are going to talk about it and give their thoughts about it. So I think that, that's to be expected. So, but yeah, that is the elephant in the room for this week, I guess, if you want to call it that.
Whew, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's your thoughts on this?
Okay, so I have a few thoughts, but I'm going to keep everything, really, really brief here. So I think that, no one should be mad at her for saying how she feels. She, and she said that she has insecurities. And so that being said, she expressed them. So I don't think she is wrong for expressing her insecurities, or her insecurity rather. I don't think she's wrong for expressing that. That's what the Red Table Talk is for. They talk about issues. They're women. They talk about things that affect real people. Even though she's the wife of a NBA superstar, she's a real person. So I think that no one should be mad at her, or could be mad at her for saying how she feels. I guess if you can even call it an issue, the only issue that I have with what she said is that she said that she doesn't want the attention from men, but she wants to know that it's there, or that men, I guess, desire her, and she wants to, my only, I guess, issue is being who she is, and I say that twice because she has cultivated an image of being very conservative, being very wholesome, which she is those things. I'm not saying she's not. She's cultivated an image, and she's also the wife of an NBA superstar who is one of the most famous people in the world. So she is, in a sense, not only is she very inaccessible, but she's cultivated an image. So my only issue, and it's not even an issue, it's a question of, is what kind of attention would she really want? Just because of the respect for him and for her and their marriage and the image they have and everything like that, just what kind of attention would she be looking for, and what would one say to get to that she doesn't want, by the way. So that was my only real question for that, or issue rather.
Okay, I'm gonna go on record.
Oh, before you say that, what's up, Uncle Marcus?
Uncle Marcus, I'm gonna go on record and say this. I didn't even watch the video.
Right.
I didn't watch the video, and I did read a little bit about her statement.
Right.
So, when reading statements, you can't see the inflections and all of those things. To answer the back half of your question, I actually get that. Meaning, there are guys that come to me and will even say, or even told my wife, like, you're very beautiful. Mm-hmm. That's a compliment coming from other guys.
Right.
But it's not a disrespectful.
Right.
So I'm thinking maybe she's not even getting that, probably.
Mm-hmm.
So when you say, I want to know that I'm still, I kind of get it.
Right. I get it too.
Because sometimes, I will tell you this, from being married, sometimes your spouse's words lose weight after a while, if that makes sense. Because you'll say, like, oh, you just saying that because
we're married.
Yeah, you're my husband or you're my wife, so you're just saying that.
Yeah.
And so even if it's 100% true, like even if I tell my wife something, like she'll say, do I look too fat in this or blah, blah. I'm like, no, you really look nice in it. Well, you're supposed to say that, you're my husband. No, I really meant it, and I won't say nothing I don't. But I can imagine over time, if the only person is telling her how beautiful she is and how great she is her husband, it can lead to insecurities. I mean, in that regard.
Yeah.
And I think that some people, the problem is with the statement, sometimes we are extreme in our understanding. Mm-hmm. And I think to know that you still got it, I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
I think that it makes sense, especially as a woman who's maturing and you done had kids and your body ain't the same it was before having kids. Mm-hmm. And she is an attractive person, Right. So I think it was just more of, dang, nobody tell me I'm beautiful.
Yeah.
It's not about having groupies. It's not about having that. I don't think.
Yeah.
So from based off of what was said, I think that we are kind of, he said, hold on. He said, oh, he's suited and booted. Shut up, Corey. And Jan said, hey, Jan, how you doing? Tell Jan, hey.
Hey, Jan.
She's my friend from undergrad.
Okay.
My question is, what is missing in her relationship that she needs someone else's validation? And then, let me see, Corey said, explain spouse's words, lose weight. What's the topic? Okay.
Hey, Marquita.
Shayla, to answer your question, which is easier, we have questions that people ask us, and those are the topics that we go over. Mm-hmm. I don't understand what you're saying, Corey, about explain spouse's words.
Well, he's saying explain that concept of your spouse's words losing weight over time. What do you mean by that?
Because it almost like they take it for granted. Not take it for granted, they take it as you're supposed to say it because of the role you occupy.
Okay. Yeah.
So if my wife is wears something that she feels is unflattering, and I say that it looks great, her response may be, oh, you're supposed to say that because you're my husband. Mm-hmm. And so what I'm saying is that sometimes people don't realize that it does take other people's validation. Just let's take looks aside.
Yeah.
It takes other people's validations to make sure that what you're doing is valid. It ain't even about having low self-esteem. I'll give a good example. I know my educational worth. I know my personal worth. I know how I am in regards to my faith. But if people didn't gravitate to the Love is a Parable curriculum and validate that, my wife can say it's great all day long. I need other people to say it.
Right.
So when people say like what insecurities or what's lacking, I don't think anything could necessarily be lacking. I think we reach sometimes, and I don't think there's anything going on other than a person saying, well, oh, am I really attractive, or is he just saying that because he's married to me?
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And she did say that, she has an insecurity. She did say that. She says and that's something that, that's an internal thing with her. And I think that one of the issues that people have with that is because she's in a marriage, and also because, again, it goes back to the image that she cultivated early on with Steph. When they were on their rise to being champions, when she was, cultivating her own brand as a chef, and she had a show, I believe, in some other stuff that she still has at restaurants. She cultivated the image of being this conservative and, wholesome mother and wife that, dressed, to the T and didn't show any skin and kept everything at home for her husband, and that she was good and she was, for lack of a better word, lit in her marriage, and she didn't need anything else. And so I think that's one of the issues too that people are having. To say, wait a minute, like you said all of this, and mind you, that was of course some years ago, so things do change. But I'm just pointing to some of the issues that people may have, or some things they bring up is, wait a minute, you said this years ago that like, no, you were straight. Like, what's all this now?
Okay, so we gonna act like we don't change though.
No,
I'm just gonna say that.
And that's true, but I'm saying I think that's one of the issues that people have as well, is that, and not only did she cultivate the image, but she also talked down on other people, namely mostly women, that did not do as she did, and so that's one of the things that I guess people have an issue with as well.
Okay, well, say that.
Well, no,
I'm saying, I'm just saying, like, if people have an issue with it, say it. Yeah. Like, I don't care one way or another, because I get it on both sides.
Right.
But I also get that it goes back to the meme that you had. Mm-hmm. Put up, communication isn't the problem. Comprehension is. Yeah. So based off of how people comprehend her statement, that determines if it's a problem or not.
Yeah.
Did Stephen say it was
a
problem?
No, he has not said anything.
Okay.
So, I mean, I imagine that something that has been discussed in there between the two of them, but he has not said anything, nor did they really. And Jada Pinkett did say, for the record, she did say, honey, no, it's not that the intention's not there, it's that you're in your marriage, you're not looking for it, so it's not on your radar. But she was saying that it is there. So she said that, so that was.
And it also could be, I am this, I can give you a good example. Based off of how you present yourself, or just your aura. Mm-hmm. Certain people got an aura. Like for me, I always have this old pastor, uncle type aura. And me and you've talked about it. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, well, why do people think I'm this? And I'm really not. Mm-hmm. But for some strange reason, it's that way. But the reason why people don't include me in certain things is also out of respect.
Right. Yeah.
And so I want the respect. But that may mean that in getting that respect means I may not be able to participate in certain things, and it's not personal.
Right. And
so with her, it could be respect for her.
Right.
Respect for Stephen.
Exactly.
But now she's dealing with dog. I can't even get a compliment.
Right.
And so I get both sides of it.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think that the folks who want to, who say they don't understand why I said that, I think they're, I think that's a little, that's a little bit extreme. And I will say that, she is not a regular, she's not a regular wife. So she's not, when I say she's inaccessible to the average guy, she is. She's conservative, and she has her own way about her. So she's not going to be at clubs. She's not going to be out doing promo tours for whatever. She's in very specific places. And right now, man, she's home with her children for a lot, because especially if Steph's on the road, the season's going on. So she's not accessible to a lot of people anyway. So, I mean, again, I guess in the off chance you catch her out somewhere, you be like, hey, Aisha, you look really good, but.
And then by that time it's a fan.
Yeah,
you be like, you Aisha Curry. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. So,
let me see. Jan said, your point about spouses' words weakens over time makes a whole lot of sense. And people grow and change over time. But perhaps they, as a couple, could revisit their relationship and reignite the power of their togetherness. I don't think she's a mess. I think she could have worked on her, and that could have worked on them. And then she also said, I have a don't touch me presence, as I have been told, which is why I'm still single. And you know what? And that's so funny, because Jaya she's very funny. But when you look at her, you look at her like, no, I'm not gonna mess with her. I'm gonna leave her alone. Yeah. But she really is a funny person, and she's really like an animated person. But people don't get to experience that, because when they look at her, they're thinking, oh, she's this. Yeah. And that's not true. But I did want to say, Jaya, to answer your question about, to go to that response about, let me go back. But perhaps as a couple, sometimes to revisit things. Sometimes in a relationship, you don't think about something until it's thought about. Right. If that makes sense. Like, you may ask me a great question, And I'm like, oh, I never thought about that. And then I say it in real time. Well, her real time could have been the red table talk. Mm-hmm. And it could have been, and here's the thing about it. We don't know what great conversation happened after it or what horrible conversation happened. We can only assume, but the funny thing is, though, we do have those moments all the time. I just think that people who are celebrity, they don't get the private times that we get. Right. Like, you can say something that's messed up and you can retract that statement because it's not already gone to millions of people. Right. She don't get that opportunity. Right. And she could have just said it all retardedly because, you know, sometimes that happens. Yeah. And I know she tried to clean up because I saw some on Instagram. I didn't read it. But sometimes you just say stuff and sometimes it is what it is. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, no, I mean, and like I said, she's married to Steph, you know, and then like I said, you cannot be mad at anyone, or you shouldn't be mad at anyone for saying how they feel. You know, if how you perceive it and the reason behind it, and I believe that, you know, there are quite a few reasons why she feels like she feels, which I won't get into now, just because, you know, it's just for sake of time and because it's a lot of just opinions. So, but yeah, that sparked it was all over my timeline. I mean, of course, women were saying, you know, they were saying what they were saying, that, you know, some women were saying it's natural to feel like that and this and that. Some guys had a problem with it. Some guys understood. And some people just, like you said, they understand they understand all sides of you know, right, what you could say about it. So I will say I was proud to see that my timeline, it was like split down the middle, male and females. Some males agree with it. Some males disagree with it. Some females agree with it. Some females disagree with it. So I was pleased to see that mix and that balance. Mm-hmm. And it also opened up more conversations. Right. Now, I will tell you that there are some people who use social media platform in a negative way, meaning to bash people. And social media is just that. Yeah. And it's an opportunity for people to express their thoughts. It's not an opportunity for them to be condemned and judged based off of their thoughts, because here's the thing. The very thing that you're doing to somebody else who had an opinion is the very thing you're defending not to happen to Aisha Curry. Exactly. And so at that point, the point that you're making at the juncture is like counterintuitive. Mm-hmm. It is no point in saying, oh, she has a right, but then you demean and bash somebody else who also has a right based off of what she puts out there. So once you put some stuff out there, it's public domain, and I can say and interpret and do whatever I want to do, and I have a right to that. And we have to learn, if we're going to defend right, we have to respect right. Yeah, all the way around. I mean, keep the same energy, as they say. So if, you know, when you put, like, just like you said, when you put stuff out there publicly, especially on social media, I mean, people can respond to it how they please. Now, they disrespect you or, you know, downtalk, stuff like that, that's another situation. But anything that you put out there can and will be dissected and, you know, knife and forked for whatever reason, just because it's out there, you know. So, but yeah, that's definitely been a huge topic these past few days. I mean, it has blown social media up, man. It went viral, which is why, for the record, when it first came out, I thought it was all for publicity. I was like, man, they probably have a show or a product coming out. But as time went on, I'm just like, oh wow, she really meant that. Oh, okay, well, all right, time to go, you know, talk about that or whatnot. So, oh, Danielle said, she got Jan, but her real name is Danielle. I'm sorry. Okay. But so that's an opportunity for her and Steph, which is great. They can focus on them. I get that others have things to say about it, but I'm less concerned about them and more about Mrs. Steph being okay. We know, because you're an advocate, Jan. Yeah. We already know how you feel about it, and I hope that she is okay. Yeah. And I do hope that this strengthens their marriage. I don't want to read into it more than what it is. I don't want to take away from what it is. I still think what they're doing is great. And being married, for those who are married, it is tough. Mm-hmm. We defend marriage a lot, but it's work. Yeah. And it is a different type of work that some people don't understand until you get in it. It's like adulthood. As a kid, you always say, I can't wait to be grown. And being an adult is tough. Yeah. But being an adult and working in a partnership with another adult, mm-hmm. and then birthing other mini adults, it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard. And so insecurities that you didn't have, you may develop over time, because I can take a good example. If my daughter acts up in school, I immediately question myself as a father.
Yeah.
I'm like, dog, did I do this right? Did I do that right? Did I do this? Do I do that? Nobody told me I was a bad father. My wife never told me I was a bad father. If anything, she told me I was a great father. But that still doesn't take away, dog, I question myself. Mm-hmm. When I was good at math, one of my daughters struggled in math. I constantly go like, what did I do wrong? Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So there are certain things that just happen over time that you can't even explain.
Yeah. No, for sure.
She's talking about, can I do the work, please? Yes, you may. Yes, you may. Yes, you may.
Yeah. So as we, and my last thing I'll say before we leave this topic is the long and short and the biggest piece of that is she expressed that she has an insecurity. So everything else after that, is whatever. But she'd expressed she has an issue within herself, and she was vulnerable enough to express that from a bunch of people. Well, now millions of people, but at the time only a few. But that's the main thing. Is she has an insecurity. Right. So that is the angle that we should look at it as. So,
we got a question from Van Small, who said, I think a segment on personal enrichment and the importance of regular doctor visits and checkups. Okay. We do talk about the importance of taking care of self as men. Mm-hmm. I will say one of the things that I was thinking about this morning as I was cutting my hair and I was dyeing the gray.
What?
I was thinking about that. I was like, how many brothers are struggling with aging?
Yeah.
Like, do the thought of getting old, like, does it bother you some? Or if you're like, no, I'm welcoming it.
It doesn't bother me personally, simply because, one of the things that my dad always told me growing up was, of course, everyone gets old. And if you walk into it gracefully and take care of yourself, it won't be such a rocky road. That's basically what he told me. And so I've never feared getting older. I would say the only thing that even if I had to fear anything about getting older was to the point where I would be, weak or debilitated to the point where I need someone to take care of me. But that's also, you have people who are in the 70s, 80s who are just fine by themselves. So I can't say that I ever about fear getting old. I understand why, people, especially men, fear getting older, because when you get older, sometimes your body starts to break down, stuff like that, but your mortality comes closer to staring you right in the face. When you're young, man, when I was in my 20s, I felt like I was invincible, I was going to live forever. And as I got older, I realized that there are things that can happen to you, things that you do directly, you have control over, things you don't have control over, that can seriously affect your life.
Yeah, I think that I struggle with, I don't think I fear death, I fear the transition of death.
Right.
I don't want to suffer and die. Like, why? I just want to go in my sleep, or why can't I just transcend or something like, and I just go somewhere. The transition is, and also realizing that there are probably things that I wanted to do that I didn't do, or didn't have enough time to do. And there was this movie. Have you ever seen? I think it's like Jupiter Falling or something like that.
I have not. Well. Yeah, don't ring a bell. I'll say that much. It doesn't ring a bell.
Is it Jupiter Falling? I'm going to be looking it up. But anyway, whatever the name of this, Jupiter Ascending.
No. Jupiter
Ascending is actually a great movie. Mm-hmm. And in this movie, it has Mila Kunis in it. Mm-hmm. In this movie, it's basically talking about how the Earth thinking that it's advanced, but it really isn't advanced. It's probably the most primitive. Mm-hmm. Even in its most advanced state, it's the most primitive. And there are other planets who use Earth as a harvesting ground. Mm. So when people talking about there were these alien encounters, or there was this rapture and things like that, that rapture was the people coming from other planets to basically kill humans, to extract their mortality. Because, and one of the things that the man said in there, see, the reason why earthlings don't get it is because they still are arguing over money and land. Mm-hmm. And they don't realize the most valuable asset that you could have is time. Mm-hmm. And so, and like there's people who've lived for millions and millions of years because they learned how to harvest. It's kind of like a spin on stem cell research. Okay. But the movie was so profound in explaining the value of time. I think that sometimes I struggle with the fact that I don't have as much time as I used to. Mm-hmm. Like I was reading something about weird random facts. Mm-hmm. Like no matter what you do, there will never be any more people older than you than what they are right now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dog.
Yeah.
My number is up.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
Okay, Uncle Marcus has some stuff to say. He said, most folks don't fear getting older as much as being alone when they are older.
That's a real thing. That's a real thing. Yeah.
And I guess I don't think about it because I'm married.
Yeah.
But I do think about the day that me and my wife may not be together, meaning one of us may transpire. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's move on. So,
I will say one thing before. So Tara said my face is killing her. Whatever, Tara. I don't even know what that means. Okay, you ain't gotta agree with her, Isaiah. That's
I said always agreeing with somebody other than us.
So
we your brothers, Isaiah. Agree with us.
Word. So one thing I also say too before we leave and go to the next topic is, as far as doctor visits and checkups, brothers, taking care of yourself, especially for black men, taking care of yourself is paramount. We are out here, we are leaving this earth. We dying in our 50s, late 40s, because of issues that, I'm not saying that, everybody who's, died, very, very young has not taken care of themselves or not, gone to a doctor, but just there's way too many of us out there who don't go to a doctor regularly, who only go to a doctor when we're really, really sick. That's really real. That's a real thing, especially in our community. So definitely take care of yourself. I mean, there are plenty of avenues out there. I know that a lot of times going to a doctor isn't cheap. You know what I mean? So I understand that. That being said, being sick, especially really sick, is even more expensive.
Yeah.
So,
I'm going to tell you this too. In the regular doctor visits, carry your tail to the dentist.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of times, some of these health issues are related to just having an old messed up mouth. And going to the dentist is not as expensive as it used to be.
Right.
Just go in there and get your teeth checked out. Get some of that stuff taken care of, because you never know. Those migraines that you're having could be linked to a bad tooth.
Yep. Yeah.
A little root canal can help. You never know. A little crown may go in there and help. Just take care of your mouth. Yeah. And then the other thing is, your mouth is very important. That's how you communicate to people, and you don't want to be communicating, because I'm telling you, it is disrespectful
to have bad breath.
And
know it.
And then be up close to somebody's face.
Saying H words.
Any consonants. I just thought about that. Any of those consonants, and your breath smell bad. Don't do that to people, because it's offensive and it's not right.
Yeah.
And you can go to places, even if you don't go to a regular dentist, there are dental schools that you can go to.
Yep.
Let them students play in your mouth and get that stuff together. It's okay.
And if you don't know, if you're in a situation you don't know how bad your breath is, do the self-breath test. Do the real quick. And if you turn your face up or you're not sure, then you might need to take care of that before you go in there and start talking to people. So
Tara talking about old messed up mouth. That thing crazy. JL said, more than anything else, sick costs you time. I'm living it right now.
Yeah, it does.
It does.
And I hope you get better, Jen.
Me too. I hope you get better too. I hope you feel better about everything. But I'm serious about taking care of your body. It's simple things like, and also if you go to the dentist too, they might tell you something else that's going on with your body. Like your breath may stink because of digestive issues, and they all work together. So what we tend to do is like, I got a physical, so I'm fine. Your mouth need a physical too. You need to make sure, go to the chiropractor, make sure that your spine is aligned.
Yeah.
There's so many different things that you can go, because you can find out that just somebody cracking your back and making sure it's straight can alleviate a lot of stresses and a lot of pressures, things that you don't even know about.
Yeah.
So if you're going to go regularly, go, because some of these things, if you do have insurance, are covered.
Yeah. Yep. So,
okay?
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, free. So, some of those are free with insurance. And guess what? If they're not, there are programs now that are out there because in 2009, the healthcare model changed where it moved from treatment and diagnose to preventive and maintenance. So preventive care is now covered more than ever, and there are a lot of preventive care associations out there. Take care of yourself, people.
Yeah. Your car, when your car is maintained, it don't cost you anything for the most part. When your car breaks down, you got to fix this and that. It costs you a lot of money. So think of it the same way.
And time.
Yeah. And time. Taking off work, doing it, use your lunch break to go somewhere to get your car worked on or whatever. Nobody wants to do that all the time. At least nobody that I know. I don't know about you.
Oh, she said, don't obsess about how white your teeth are. Get it all checked out. Correct. Yeah. Because your teeth, depending on your pigmentation, will determine how white your teeth look anyway. Mm-hmm. And you should have a little yellow tint anyway. That's not tartar. I grew up thinking about it. They got tartar on their teeth. That's not. You see, if you go to the dentist will tell you instead of listening to your cousins in them.
Yeah, it told me a long time ago because this person right here has a little yellow tint on their teeth. And it used to bother me.
You? Yep. I do too, and I had to get composites, and they was like, no, we got to have it to match. I was like, put it white. They're like, your teeth ain't white.
All right, so our next topic, Natanya had a 2-part question. Well,
thank you, Kim. Kim said I look sharp. Thank you, Kim.
Thank you, Kim. So Natanya said...
She said I look sharp. Why are you saying thank you?
I'm saying thank you, brother, because you look sharp. Thank you, because you know what I'm saying? You are me and I am you. You know what I'm saying? So, that's, man. See?
Okay, Natanya said,
she said, I'm thinking, how do men handle business relationships when they go sour? And then the second part, she says, or how do men adapt to financial struggles? Now, those are two very, very different things. So, I will go after the latter first.
Okay.
I would say men adapting to financial struggle is a loaded question and definitely depends on not only the resources you have in your life and in your circle, like your family, your friends, what kind of business or what kind of job you have, but it also depends on your upbringing. There are quite a few people out there, unfortunately, who were not raised or were not in financial, I guess, savvy, as some people call it, was not instilled in them. Even simple things like saving money for just emergencies or anything like that, certain things were not instilled in them as when they were younger or even as they got older. So they don't have the mindset. And so I would say it really just depends. I would say overall, financial struggles are really hard on brothers simply because as a man, especially in here society in the US, you're told that if you're a man and you don't have any money, you're damn near worthless. So it is, as far as how men handle it, it's hard on brothers. It's really, really hard. And so, but how they handle it is, I guess, depends on the person.
But I will say this: we normalize it,
right?
But we downplay the normalization of it. Mm-hmm. Meaning, if you're going through a financial problem, I'd be like, hey, "Me too,"
right?
But instead of saying, instead of giving you advice, because just because you're going through financial struggle, your struggle may not be like mine, mm-hmm. and so we might need to talk about it. Like, well, what's happening?
Right.
And then if you say, man, I keep falling short every month, yeah, if you stop eating out every week, you wouldn't fall short. That's something we should talk about as brothers, mm-hmm. whereas mine could have been a little bit different. I could have inherited that. Mm-hmm. Or I could have mismanaged my funds, whereas yours, you don't know where it's going.
Right.
So it's so many different ways we can talk about it. Mm-hmm. But I think that in the normalization of it, we have to begin to become more comfortable with talking about what our struggles are.
Right.
Because financial struggles are broad.
Right, they are.
Meaning, are you financially struggling because you can't pay your bills? Or are you financially struggling because after you pay your bills, you got money?
Right. Yeah, so is it a perpetual thing? Like every month you come up short? Or is it just, at the end of the year, you just don't have a whole lot left, for whatever?
Yeah, because my mom say there's a difference in my bills are paid broke than not having money to pay my bills broke.
Right, and it sounds cliche, but it's really real. Not being able to pay certain bills or all of your bills adequately is a totally different kind of struggle than, man, I only got $100 after I pay all my bills. But all your bills everything is taken care of. You just don't have a lot of discretionary income. Those two problems are football fields apart, in my opinion.
And I will say this. One of the things that I do, we also have to be comfortable with talking about cultural norms
Right.
and cultural differences. Might sound crazy. I have friends who are white, but no, I have people who have from multiple ethnic backgrounds. And one of the things that I had to make normal is having that conversation. Mm-hmm. Yes, there are certain things that they're taught that are different from us,
right.
But there are also certain opportunities that they have, and there's also certain challenges that they just don't face.
Yeah.
So we got to have a whole conversation about it. And here's one of the things. When I'm dealing with people of a lighter hue, and I tell them the opposition that I go through, I tell them, I don't need your advice. I need for you to make a way. So if you do have privilege, we talked about this before. Yep. If you do have privilege, if you do have an opportunity, use your privilege to help somebody else.
Use it. Yeah.
We have to get back to that sense of community and stop arguing over why we are perceived differently. Guess what? We are different. Everybody's going to always be perceived different, but what you do with those differences is what makes it all the better.
So, yeah, that's absolutely correct. So Tori had a comment. And Tori, I must say, as I know Tori personally, and he is a very financially savvy brother. We talk on occasion, and more than occasion. When I say occasion, damn near every other day. But he said, I start trimming the fat, cut haircuts back from weekly to bi-weekly, do a little more Netflix and chill rather than Red Lobster dates. And so, and that's really real. That's an assessment that you make within your situation, and nobody can say no. At least nobody should, say anything about that. Everyone's situation, like you said, everyone's situation is different. So if you find that you're kind of short, or you just want to make, even if you want to make a change, the first place you should look at are those things, your spending habits, the small ones.
Wanna make a change for once in my life. Gonna feel real good. Gonna make a difference. I don't know why that popped in my head, man, in the mirror. I guess because here's the other thing that I'm thinking about. Part of the thing is, too, you have to admit your issues, too.
Right.
Like, I left my job. I left higher ed after 19 years last year. And financial things have changed a bit, starting a nonprofit and then going into a career like almost 8 months later.
Right.
There were things like I cut my hair, but I always knew how to cut my own hair. I just didn't like doing it.
Okay.
And so I was lazy in that area. Just like my undergrad is health, I am a rec therapist major. I don't need to go to a gym, but I'm lazy. So that's my issue. So what I'm challenging myself to do is to apply the skill sets that I have and stop being lazy. JL says she has a recommendation. She said there is a video series called 2 Cents by PBS on Facebook. And she said it helped her make better decisions tremendously. So we'll be sure to check that out.
I'm gonna check that.
We're going to check that out.
She also said, she had, I guess, a mini question. She said, what can a woman do to help her man when stressing about money? How can we do it in a supportive and or positive way? I mean, if you're talking about help outside of helping as in lending or giving some money, I would say the other thing is just what Jay was saying is just inquire and if it comes from a genuine place and ask. Well, I would say listen first, and then if advice is solicited, you could give it. So I would say more so is just listen, just because, as we said before, sometimes when people are going through things, they don't necessarily want advice from people. Sometimes they just need somebody to listen, and so they can just get it out, and they'll come up with a solution on their own and figure it out. So I would say, to answer your question, Jan, I would say just first listen. She, because you're talking hypothetically, I would say suggest listening to him first and seeing what the actual problem is, and then if he wants some advice, then give some if she has some.
And I would say this too. Let's stop looking at, in a relationship, let's be honest. Let's stop looking at if it's male or female.
Right.
What's best for your situation and your partner?
Exactly.
The one you're with knows best. And I say that a lot because there are certain things in my relationship with my wife that are traditional.
Right.
And then there are certain things that are so non-traditional. I don't even know what it falls under. I think that yes, there are certain things that a woman can relate to with another woman. Mm-hmm. There are things that men can relate to with other men, but there are certain things that are relationship specific.
Yeah.
And it only works with that relationship. So I think the best advice I would give is communicate and ask them what is it that they need. Like, I know that somebody was saying, I remember old advice was, if your man doesn't have money, slide him the money and let him pay for the bills. Mm-hmm. Oh, pay for, like, if they go out to eat or something like that. Truth be told, I don't care who card it comes from, because it's the same pot in our household. Right. Yes, my wife has her own account. I have my own, and then we have a savings. But the truth of the matter is, it's still the same money, because if there are certain bills my wife is paying or bills that I'm paying, the money is shifting.
Right.
So I don't care who card it uses, and I don't feel less of a man, but I do know men. I do know some men who want to always pay, and I do know some women who want the man to always pay. Yeah. So it depends on that relationship and that dynamic to tell you exactly what they need.
Right.
And the big thing to that is communication, and not just hearing the words that they're saying, but actually understanding and interpreting the words that they're saying correctly. Meaning, if you ask them a question and they give you an answer, if you don't fully answer, say, okay, so what you're saying is, when this happens, you want me to do.
Right.
And then that'll break down the confusion right there.
Yeah. No, I agree. And Tori said, Jen, just swipe that debit card. That will help. It's funny, but he's right. He is right. That definitely will help.
I don't understand. Swipe the debit card and it help with what?
Whatever financial trouble he's having. Swipe the debit card.
Not if it's linked to her. Y'all both be sitting there decline with an NSF.
He said, quote, Tori said, I quote, I would never ask a woman for money. He said, not me. Yo, Tori, we have to get you on here, man, just because, man.
Tori don't be wanting to be on here. We've been asking him since we started.
that dude right there, he's a smart brother, but he is a jokester for real. And so, and this is actually good timing. So the first part of Natanya's, question was, how do men handle business relationships when they go sour?
I can tell you, I can go with that one quick.
I don't have a business at the moment, so I'll let my brother Jay handle that.
In my 20s, it was hard. Mm-hmm. Talking about age.
Yeah.
What a lot of people don't know is that I used to work in church leadership as well. Mm-hmm. And there were a lot of partnerships that you develop. And when things go sour, even in church, because the church part is business,
right,
you used to walk away and never really talk to that person again. Mm-hmm. Love is a Parable was a little bit different because it is a business. Mm-hmm. And when those things happen, I don't know if it's because I'm nearing my old age, that now I do talk more about it. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that I did was all those church partnerships or ministerial partnerships that I had, I actually called and talked to them about it. Like, 2019, stuff that happened in 2007, 2008, we talked about it this year or last year. And so how I handle things now is I'm big on communication. Mm-hmm. If I'm going to cut you off, which I don't do, but if I separate from you, you're going to know that I'm separating. Mm-hmm. You won't go into anything blind. It won't be anything unexpected. And a lot of times what I found out is that there is so many different interpretations of one scenario. Yeah. And we would think, oh, well, that's common sense. Well, common sense is relative, and common sense ain't common. Everybody don't have common sense, and everybody's interpretation of an event is totally different. Yep. And if you don't have that opportunity to have a conversation, you may be robbing yourself of a growth opportunity or even better financial opportunity. Yeah. So I believe if you're going to separate a relationship, male or female, business, platonic or romantic, communicate and let people know what you're doing, why you're doing it.
Yep. First and foremost, communicate. So we have quite a few, well, not quite a few, a few comments. Tara said, look, if we don't have it, we're not going out like that. Romance, not balling out of control. I agree. Communication and, just having the same mindset, especially in a relationship, I think is just really key. We all go through financial troubles, even trust fund babies. So,
I wish I knew a trust fund baby.
Shoot, me too.
You not a trust fund baby?
Nope.
Oh, okay. I was like, I know a trust fund manager, but no.
No. So Greg Bozeman said communication.
Time out. Y'all, if y'all are not following Greg Bozeman, he's doing great things in, is it Zebulon? Is it Zebulon or Wilson? I can't remember, and I apologize because I'm not on that page. But he's doing great things in his community. In fact, he's doing things very similar to what we're doing with Brother Empowerment, and he's empowering his community. He has a clothing line, and he has his own store. It's very important that we support and franchise one another and patronize one another, because we want to make sure Is it patronize? It was patronize? Okay. Patronize one another. And we really want to make sure we're supporting. He's doing great things in the community. He actually had a speaking engagement in Maryland. But the next one that he has here, we're going to definitely make sure we come out and support, because he's doing strong things. If he continue to do what he's doing on his side and we do what we're doing on our side, we come together and we impact more. So y'all follow and support.
So
you're just going to read this comment, though.
Yes. He said communication is the key, and still making him feel like a man while he's going through that struggle, because pride and ego can affect a man's attitude. Yes, pride and ego definitely are, great contributing factors to a man's attitude, his well-being, fortunately and unfortunately. There's
right.
two sides to that. So, Jan said, Tori's funny. Yeah, my Uncle Marcus said, Tori Newton, I sure would ask my wife for money. 50-50, my dude. My Uncle Marcus is crazy. So, yep. Isaiah said, when I come to Raleigh in June, I'll be on. Okay, cool.
No, we're not letting you on. Go on Kimberly's show, or go on, who he was agreeing with? Tara. Go on Tara's show.
Natalia said, that's righteous, Jay. We have to tell them while we're separating. And Tara said, my experience with men in business has always been unexpectedly negative when it doesn't go their way. Kind of sad. I can definitely see that, just because of misogyny and all the other ills that we are working to get rid of at the moment. So Natania says it's about integrity. Kerwin said, what's up, Kerwin? Kerwin said, clear communication is the key to clear understanding.
Agreed.
I definitely agree.
What's up, Kerwin?
So Greg also said he's in Wilson. Apologies, brother. Wilson.
He's in Wilson. What I said, is Zebulon?
Mm-hmm. First, you said that. Then you said Wilson.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's in Wilson. Okay, good. At least I got it.
Yeah.
He's in Wilson, so go support Wilson.
So then Natania said she's gonna be linking up with Greg. That's dope. So.
And Natania is a person of her word. She definitely does do everything that she says she's gonna do.
Yeah. And actually, you know what, brother? Surprisingly, man, we have covered all the topics today, and we have 4 minutes left. Well, technically 4 minutes. We started a little late, so we got more like 10. But I mean, this is freeform right now, man. What's on your mind, man?
He talking about Cordell face is looking like. Hold on, Isaiah picking at you. He said Cordell face is looking like he's thinking, what am I going to eat after this?
Now, I'm not gonna be eating anything after this because it's gonna be late. But also, my face when I'm listening to someone, especially someone as profound as my brother Jay, is just, I can't see my face, of course. Well, I can if I look at the video later. But my face, I guess, is very just intense, or just really just kind of just whatever when I'm listening. But that's my listening face. I just call it that.
The one thing that I want to talk about more than anything is that I've been having this conversation with a lot of people that are close to me. Love is a Parable is experiencing some great things. I can't wait to release them, but I can't yet until our attorney gives us the okay. But there are some exciting things happening, and as those exciting things happen, I have what I call a core. Mm-hmm. And that core consists of the board, my mentor, and a few friends who knows the business of Love is a Parable.
Yeah. And
one of the things that we can't miss, guys, as a whole, is community.
Right.
Love is a Parable is about community. And I keep saying that because there are people who come in the illusion of community that really don't care about community. They care about financial gain.
Right.
The next thing is Love is a Parable was birthed out of so many different elements. But my wife and I both not only have master's degrees, mm-hmm. but we also have experience in working with pedagogy and andragogy. Pedagogy is children, andragogy is adult learners, and I spent so much of my time, and we both have behavioral health backgrounds. So the things that we're doing and the elements and the way that we're coming, this is not a hobby for us. Mm-hmm. This is a passion and a lifestyle. And so the things that we're bringing, we are credentialed in that as well. And so it's not like, oh, somebody is just. No, we're passionate about it and we work hard about it and we respect people who also have passions and goals and who have went after things. And so it's very important to understand that. So one of the things that Love is a Parable has been doing, we have been consciously separating ourselves from things that confuse what our mission and goal is, because we want this to be a place where you guys can come.
Right.
We like the fact that you guys still come to our inbox. You guys tell us certain things. You guys divulge certain information. We have to, because we want to maintain that integrity, and that's why we have a board that does that as well. Meaning, when a decision is made, Jay doesn't just make a decision. Jay actually does talk to the board, and we go over it. And so when we move as a community, and we move as a unit. Well, that's the same thing for you guys who are connected to Love is a Parable. When you're doing great things out there, like Kerwin, who is always tagging us in things because he's always doing something in the community, you need to see that and you need to be connected to that, because you never know how you can help somebody else or who may need that service. The same thing with Greg, who is doing great things in his community. The same thing that is happening with not only Greg, but Frederick in his community. All of these people are doing phenomenal things. Yes, Tara, pedagogy. A lot of these people are doing a lot of things that that are making the community better, and we need to connect with them. Now, on the flip side, there are people that are going to take advantage. There are people who are going to exploit. But I want to make it clear, Love is a Parable is not that, and Love is a Parable is not connected to anybody who's like that. Even though I'm a love advocate, anybody who's connected to me will tell you that I'm brutally honest, and I don't have a problem speaking the truth regardless of how one may feel about that truth. And one of the things that is not going to happen is someone, anybody, any entity that will taint what we're building for Love is a Parable, because we know that there are people that are hurting and they need someone to trust. And we're not going to jeopardize somebody's trust for the sake of making a dollar.
That's correct.
No dollar is more important than your life.
Not chasing a dollar, not clout chasing. Tara said credentials matter, integrity matters. And that's correct. And as
and Miss Joey on there as a cheerleader.
And the interesting thing about love is, you're not required to love everybody. And people that are not for you or not for the betterment of you, you're not required to love them.
Right.
So that's the thing, is that, we come in love, but we also, if we see that, it's not a situation for us, we take our love and we go this way.
And guys, Pastor Aaron Robert Elo Bishop, I still remember your whole name, just logged on. And the good thing I love about this, speaking about apologies, how I left him wasn't the best, and I apologize to that. And one of the interesting things about Aaron Bishop and his church, Grace, back in Columbia, is right after I experienced like the worst type of church hurt, he took me in with open arms and allowed me to heal there. If I didn't have that experience, I probably would have still been judging all Christians, all types of churches, and all of that. But there's good that's being done. So if you're in the Columbia area, make sure you check him out, because he too is another person that where humanity trumps religion. Yeah. He's going to look out for who you are and what you need, and making sure that you have all of that. So there are some good people out there. And I'm saying that because we can focus on the negative. And it's so easy to focus on the things that have happened wrong in our lives. Because there's a lot of things I can tell you that have happened to me. But I guess what? When I started counting the good,
right,
the good in my life, it did outweigh it. Like, every week I get to work alongside you. We have in-depth conversations. We look at things from different levels. I'm connected to some great people that I talk to now every day. And I remember growing up, I didn't have people that I could talk to every single day.
Yeah.
Well, now with my core, I speak to my core, somebody from my core every day. We check on each other every day. We vouch for each other every day. And that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
And so I can't focus on the negative. I can only focus on the good, because if I focus on the negative, I drown and die there. And so we got to get to that place, guys, where we surround ourselves with love and positivity. And so the other thing that I wanted to clear up all the time is that we don't do bashing on brother empowerment.
Right.
And nobody's going to use brother empowerment as a means to bash. Meaning there are some extremists on both sides, and this is not the platform for it.
Right.
We're here to help, and we're going to celebrate our brothers because there are some brothers that are doing some great things.
Yeah, some phenomenal things. So, all right, brother. Well, we are almost at our hour, so you know.
Yep. Positive brother shout out.
You go first this time.
No. Okay. Well, look, Pastor Bishop is on there, so I'm gonna give him a shout out. Yeah. Frederick is on there. I'm gonna give him a shout out. Tori, I can't wait to have you on the show, so I'm gonna give you a shout out.
Wait, bro. It's gonna
Kerwin, look, we're gonna have to do a 2 hour. Let me stop. But Kerwin Pittman, huge shout out to all of them. Rico, huge shout out. We're going to continue to shout out all my brothers, all my cousins who are doing positive things, but also that brother who still doesn't have time to do the things that he wants to do because he's just trying to survive and do right by his family, do right by himself, take care of himself. Brother, we hear you, we love you, and we're here for you. Go.
So.
Oh, and Uncle Marcus.
See, how you go? That's my uncle. How you go take?
He all our uncle. He said nephews with an S.
Man, that's wrong. So first and foremost, I want to shout out. Basically, I'm just gonna go. Instead of naming everybody, I'm gonna say all the brothers that are here tonight, listening with us. My Uncle Marcus.
Uncle Marcus.
You know, Fred, Kerwin. You know, Pastor Aaron Bishop. Just everybody, and everybody that you know that's gonna tune in later. You know, I talked to. You were saying that you talk to someone from the core every day. You know, and I talked to a group of brothers that I'm in a Facebook group with. I talked to a group of those guys almost every day, and we're always talking about things. You know, Corey Maxwell's in that group. Tori is in that group. You know, Terrence Clifton, aka Tadow, is in that group. You know, there's just a lot of brothers, a lot of positive brothers that have a lot of positive goals and ambitions. In that group as well. So those brothers, any future brothers that we're gonna run into, that are gonna come to the events, that are gonna tune in, that are gonna hear about us via word of mouth and start tuning in and reaching out to us. I want to shout out those brothers as well. I'm gonna shout out, of course, my other uncle, my Uncle Antoine, my Uncle Kermit.
That's his uncles.
My dad, and any other, brother that I may run into while I'm out here, spreading love. So those are my positive brother shout outs.
I will say this. I met at an event, a young lady wanted to bring her 16-year-old son to the Brother Empowerment Cookout. Mm-hmm. Brother Empowerment is for men and their families.
Right.
So if you are a single mother and you don't have any father figures or male guidance around, because sometimes you're not even looking for a father figure, you're just looking for great male energy, great male great male interaction.
Yeah.
Bring your sons, bring your brothers, bring your cousins. This is for men and their entire family.
Right.
And so if you don't, just like I told a sister before, she's a single mom. Well, you're not anymore. You're not a single mom. We're going to help you if the baby need anything, your son need anything. We're there.
Right.
We're not going to let you suffer because we're bringing community back.
Right. So yeah, it's for everybody. I mean, we're brother empowerment, and we speaking to our brothers. But when we have events, especially events like the Brother Empowerment Cookout, like my brother Jay said, it is for everybody. Just because we are a community, so everybody is involved, and everybody's included.
Right. 2 weeks, we're going to have a great discussion, round table discussion. May 30th, we're going to bury toxic masculinity. After May 30th, we're not using the term toxic masculinity anymore. You want to tune in. Unfortunately, the event, however, is going to be only men present. And we're going to have that discussion burying toxic masculinity. Yeah. So May 30th, make sure you mark your calendars.
Right here. Be my house right here.
Well, you guys have a wonderful night. And we love you guys.
All right. Y'all tune in next Thursday. Love y'all. See y'all next week.